so much for being here. So we're turning the heat on. If it's too loud over us talking, there's someone just signaling. Okay. But yeah, so I am Chantre Phillips. I am affiliated with Harris Hawkins and Taiye, Brandy, the owner's back there. And Taiye and I, we do have a team. We are the Singletary Phillips Group. Oh, sorry. I am Taiye Singletary, the other half of the Singletary Phillips Group with Harris Hawkins Co. And as she said, all of that good stuff. We are excited to be here. Really thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. And thank you for the lovely panel for agreeing to do this. So sit back, relax. We're going to get started right now. Make sure you have your notepad out. Make sure that you are a sponge, and make sure that you network with everybody in this room, because the purpose of this is to make sure that we are collaborating with one another and being able to meet each other where we are and understanding that there is no competition in this room. So, yes, we're going to get started with Jack introducing himself.
Hello, my name is Jack McCray. I'm with Keller Williams flagship. It's in Millersville, Maryland. I've been in the industry for about 4 years. Not unofficially, closer to 7 years. I started a real estate club at Towson University while I was in college. So I run a team. We're about 10 people full time, about 25 people part time. We sold 189 houses last year for $75 million. And I'm excited to be here. My mission is to empower others to achieve their real estate goals and their goals in life. And I'm happy to show you.
My name is Megan Wick. I'm also with Harris Hawkins Co. I have been licensed for about 5 years. Very, very active for more like 3.
Hey everybody, my name is Chantre McCray. I'm with Keller Williams Realty Center. I've been there for just over 2 years. Currently right now, the number 2 individual agent out of 12,000 in the Maryland and DC region. Yeah, just super excited to be here. Sharing that with a lot of these agents at home.
What's going on, guys? My name is Chantre King. I'm the team lead of the King Homes Group, affiliated with Realty London Excellence. I currently run a team of about 8 agents. I've been the top producer in my brokerage for about the last 10 years. And, just happy to be here, kind of give some insights to everybody, be a part of this amazing family.
All right. Good. Thank you. We'll get right into it. Yeah. All right. So the first question, this is going to be geared towards everyone. How do you break through when you feel like you're plateauing? So, yeah, we can start with you.
Anytime I'm plateauing, it's really simple for me. I just think about my why, right? I come from almost nothing, and I've started something from the ground, basically from the mud, if you will, and I've created a real brand. And I feel like any day that I don't show up is a day that my brand didn't last. And then if you think about it as well, I'm married now. I got a wife at home, maybe a kid at some point, little dog at home I got to take care of. So any day that I don't show up is a day that they don't eat, basically. And that's how I always think. If I don't work, my people don't eat. And so that always keeps me going. That's my why.
Well, I feel like I'm plateauing. Definitely keep your kid with going back to your why. But also just collaborate with other agents, because 9 times out of 10, if you're going through something, there may be other agents in the market experiencing the same thing. So you just want to collaborate and encourage each other. And the more that you collaborate with people, the more that you learn. And the more that you learn, you can add value to your clients through your experiences.
So when I'm plateauing, I would say first and foremost, I need to rest. I need to take a minute. You can't pour from an empty cup. So I take a second to pour back into myself. The way that might look like spending time with my family, actually just resting, taking a nap here and there. And additionally getting into the brokerage and just being in an environment that is productive again.
For me, when I feel like I'm plateauing, there's 7 circles in life that you can focus on, whether it be business, whether it be fitness, whatever it is, right? I take a look at those 7 circles, and I think that focusing on one at a time gives you an opportunity kind of to break through, right? So for me over the last year, getting more spiritual has been a big part of my success. So I think that picking a circle, saying maybe I'm lacking here, maybe I need to give that a little bit more focus, man, it's super helpful.
That was nice. And that is even to say that you are not alone. So remember that. So we're gonna hit it off with Montez and Kendrick, and the question is going to be, how do you convert leads from social media to clients?
It's real simple. Keep posting. Seriously. I almost make it a thing to where, sometimes it can be hard. I do run my own Instagram page, so sometimes it can be difficult, but I make it a point to post about 5 times a week, if not more. You have to hit your people. I tell my team all the time, if they don't see you, they don't know you. Right? So if somebody's thinking about buying a home, you need to be in front of their Instagram, in front of their Facebook, giving knowledge, giving posts, giving whatever, so that you're always top of mind. Right? That is the biggest thing, is being top of mind on social media. And then over time, you create a following, you create a brand. And obviously, when it comes to that time, they're going to go to you because they see you every single day. So it cannot be any lags. Right? Every day you guys should be posting. That's simple. I say the biggest thing to you.
Jesus, they go ahead. I don't know what to say. But no, really, just staying top, like you said, top of mind. That's the biggest thing, because there's a lot of real estate agents out there, in the area. But a lot of people don't know the average real estate agent is selling 4 to 5 houses. So if you're really excelling and and operating at an above average level, you need to portray that to your clientele or to your target market, so people know that yes, you sell real estate at a high level, right? Because a lot of people have a real estate license, right? But what differentiates you from that next real estate agent? No, I'm actually at real estate conferences taking the time to better my business. Yes, I flew across the country to California to be in a room of 12,000 top agents to learn how to be the best real estate agent, to my ability to add more value to my clientele. So I'm sharing that story on on social media, so they know that this is serious to me. Like, this is not a game. This is how my family eats, and I'm serious about adding value to anybody who comes into my world as a client.
And I think that's a good point that you said. I think what makes you stand out is, what are you doing different? Like, there are a lot of realtors out here, like you said. But if you are taking the time to invest in your business by flying across the country and, going to conferences and things like that, potential buyers and sellers are seeing that. So they want to work with the best. So if they feel like you're investing into your business, why do they not want to work with you? I mean, I think I was watching one of your stories and you had a good point. I love what you said about a practitioner in your business, right? So when you're a practitioner in your business, I think you mentioned that means you practice in your business, you're an expert in your business. And I don't know about you, but I like a little experienced person. If it's a doctor and whatever it is, like, I like someone who's experienced at what they do. So that's a good point in what both of you guys said. It's just about, just being there in your face and showing that you are, working hard towards your business.
I don't have a mic. All right, so the next question we have is going to be for Shaq, and it's going to be for Montez. And the question is, how do you find leads, and what method of lead generation works best for you?
Customer.
Not customer.
So I run a big team, so it's different for all of our agents. I would say that some of it is prospecting. I would say that that's what we're best at. We go out, we take our message one-on-one, we find clients, and we convert them to leads. In addition to that, 65% of our business is sphere of influence. So cultivating those relationships, making those people feel cared about. We're working really hard this year on Facebook. So just like Facebook leads, working through just like, my director of legions, he's over there just testing and see what works and see what doesn't work and just run them over and over again. A lot of ads, a lot of spin to try to get, another consistent lead gen effort rolling for our business. So I would say we get our business from all over the place. We're special at prospecting, but we're working really hard on marketing this year. Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I first got started, I was just hustling. Like, so what happened was, I had got my real estate license and started a job right out of college. So I graduated top of my class. I had this amazing job. I was making close to like 6 figures right out of college. So I went and got me a Range Rover, and I was, I was doing my thing until I had got fired because I was trying to do real estate and work for them full time, but they wasn't having it. They found my social media and my performance wasn't great because I was trying to do real estate stuff. So I'm leaving work early to do open houses and do showings, and So I was doing any and everything. I was giving out cards at the grocery store, at the gym, because all I knew I had to make my payment, and that payment was like $1,000 a month. And when I kept checking the account, it was only 12 in there. So I had 12 months before the money ran out. So yeah, I was just, but in all seriousness, definitely like any space that I'm in, I go to a gym, like the membership's $150, but there's only like business professionals in there and executives. So I'm networking in the gym. Networking when I go out with my friends, like I'm intentional about that. Like if my friend is an attorney, he's having a dinner party, okay, cool, I'm dress up, be social, meet people, because you never know who's looking to purchase or sell a home. Then doing open houses in $700,000 neighborhoods, $500,000 neighborhoods, or even a $400,000 house. You gotta like think, if you do that open house and it's $400K, all it takes is one unrepresented person to walk in there for you to make $10,000. And so you have to think of it and approach it with that mindset, right? So I used to do like 3 to 4 open houses a week when I was a new agent. And that was my mindset. I only need one person to walk in here that's one unrepresented, and I can make 10 bands this weekend. So just hustling, like really just hustling and taking advantage of every opportunity.
So to add to that, is that how you got, because everybody want to know, the 78 deals that you had, I think it was last year, right? 78?
Yeah.
Jeez. Hit it on, tell the people. Yeah, tell the people.
It's like really, really clear. My answer is like really, really cliche, but it's yes. Once you get people, take care of them, right? Like give them A+ service, give them 5-star service. Like you'll have some people, who get a client in their face that they can service well, and they're not even going to take advantage of that opportunity in front of them because they're too busy looking for the next. Like so, handle what's in front of you. I've had clients that I've closed on a Friday, and I didn't even ask for a referral, and they've sent me 2 more clients by Tuesday just because I've done such an amazing job in their opinion servicing them, and that I don't even have to ask for a referral. So again, just really 5-star service to every client that comes into your world, and then don't be a silent agent. Let people know that you're a real estate agent and you're passionate about what you do, and just be hungry.
Like it. All right. So, this is for everyone who can answer. What are some challenges you face during your real estate careers? So, we can start with Megan.
So I think when I first started, the biggest thing was knowing how to lead them. We all know that real estate school does not teach us that. We don't know how to run a business. We don't know how to generate the leads. So figuring out how I was comfortable doing that was pivotal in building my business. At first, it didn't look like what it does now because a lot of fear was present. Pushing past that fear and making those cold calls and knocking on doors and those kinds of things it really helps to elevate my business.
So my answer would be, to be completely honest with you guys, it took me 8 months before I made my first check. So quick story, my first 5 months in real estate, I joined a small family brokerage where they were still trying to get themselves off the ground, and they weren't really giving any time to the agents that they had brought on. So for 5 months, literally, I didn't know what Bright was, I didn't know what MLS was, I had never done a showing, nothing. then I found the broker that I'm with now, and 3 months later I got a deal. But I would say that was the most challenging thing, was pushing through those 8 months. Right, I didn't make a single dime. I was still working a corporate job, trying to figure out my life. But my broker said, "I promise you, it's going to come. You just got to go every day. You got to push every day, and I promise it's going to come." And he was right. So I would say that was the hardest thing, is just getting through those 8 months, because as we know, real estate is a tough business, but it worked out.
Yeah. For me, I think in the beginning, my biggest challenge is I was transferring from $100,000 a year job. So I had a family, I had a mortgage, and you guys know, like, getting into the industry is full commission. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to produce. So I think for me in the beginning, the biggest challenge was just like balancing like the both of them. Like, how do I work full time? And I'm like 60 hours a week, at my corporate job. And how do you fit real estate into that, and how do you set yourself up for success to be able to transfer and to have a good career? That was really challenging in the beginning, and I think the answer is you just work your ass off. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really have another choice. You got to full time whatever you're doing, and really full time real estate if you're serious about making the transition. So I would say that was the biggest thing.
My biggest challenge was the fact that I had a lot of limited beliefs. When I first got started, I was 21, Black, African American, right? And so those two things I thought they were shortcomings in a sense, because everybody who I saw that was successful in the business, they were typically older and Caucasian. So I just didn't quite know how I was going to thrive in this business. But I found a few mentors. I had a mentor in DC. He consistently sold $1 million or $2 million homes, and he was an African American male. So he taught me how I had to enunciate. He taught me how I had to enunciate my words, how to articulate, how I had to dress all of the time, so I could build a profitable business. And so that really helped set me in the right direction, because especially as a young professional, you're being judged, from the time that you hop out of the car, from the car that you're driving, to everything that you say, because the connotation is already that you're younger and you're not serious about your business. So I just had to be everything that was opposite, extremely serious, extremely knowledgeable, and work 5x harder than my counterparts. So that was the biggest thing that I had to get over. It was probably my own head, get over the thoughts in my own head.
So you brought up a good point. So I think when it comes to reaching out to people, I feel like a lot of people don't really like to do that, because one, they just feel like, oh, I don't want anyone to know that I don't know more, as much as them, or I just don't want to look like I need somebody. But I think one of the biggest things that me and Taiye are big on is being in an environment and surrounding ourselves with people who are doing better than us. Like, that's the best thing that we probably can do. Like, we want to be in a room with people who are very successful and who are, multi-million-dollar listing and, buying agents. We want to talk to them. We want to, network with them and see about mentorship, like you said, because how else do you expect to learn? Like, how do you expect to get there? So I think just coming outside of yourself and just being, real with yourself and say, okay, I'm not there yet, so maybe I should talk to this person to see what I need to do to get there. So that was a good one. Okay, so next question. Let's see. Okay. I was like, let me okay. I'm not going to be loud and wrong over here. Okay, Kendrick. Why do you think millennial agents create more of a competition instead of collaboration?
I mean, honestly, I think I hate Instagram. I'm gonna just let y'all know that right now. Right? I hate Instagram, and I think that is what has kind of caused some of this competition. Is that everybody just wants the picture with the key, right? They got a picture with the key. Why I don't have it, right? And I caught myself kind of being in that mode for a little while. And I think that's what it is, but I think that we have to get out of that mode and understand kind of what Shaq was saying earlier before this. There are so many homes out here. There are so many clients out here. You said it as well, right? Your clients are for you. Whoever is for you is for you. All you can do is keep marketing yourself, keep working on yourself. But thinking about what the next, like, if I keep thinking about this guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. But I know I'm just as good as him, right? No disrespect, right? I know that for sure. But he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. And I can't think about Montez. I got to think about
And Montez can't think about the next person.
You know, I have to think about
On.
King Holmes Group. That's it. That's all I think about. So, you know, there is no competition if you just think about yourself. Just be happy for everybody else in their success.
That was good. That was good. That was good.
Give him
So,
a key.
And then he said my name
So this one is going to be for Megan. What do you think newer agents should do to set themselves apart from the rest?
So to set them, I think that they should just be willing to, at first, not be so ready to jump into selling. Well, obviously everybody wants to sell, but before you can actually be successful at that, you need to just be a sponge, like I said tonight, and gain all the knowledge that you can. When you have that knowledge, you have the confidence to actually be successful. And without either of those, the success is just not going to come. So I would say take the time instead of worrying about finding clients and working on that lead gen, and just know the contracts, know the laws, know neighborhoods, know everything that you're going to need to know to be able to assist your clients before you go out there and actually start doing it. Don't practice on that.
All right, so we're going to give it, this is going to be the men's segment for a second. Because we want to know, how did you get your first luxury client? You're going to do a little spin. How did you get your first luxury client and that 700K plus? And is it challenging to market to those clients?
All right, so I think this is super important to understand. So like for me, my first luxury client was a resale client for somebody that I sold the first house to. And you know, I helped them get into investment properties and things like that. Like I think it's important for us as real estate agents to help our clients attain wealth, right? Like they want the same things that we do. And the more that you're able to build your client database and bring the message and bring the education to your clients, the more they're just going to have that money to operate in those luxury price points to buy more properties. So I think it's super important to be able to, you know, educate your clients and care about them in that way, and to want them to be just as wealthy as you, right? Because those are the people that are going to make up your, you know, your investment pool. You know, in the future, you want to go out and buy that 100-unit, you know what I mean, building, right? Like if you're bringing clients along the way, those are more, you know, certified investors that can invest in what you're doing. So I think it's super, super important to bring people with you.
All right, I'm sorry, I was just saying here deep thought because my first $700,000 plus transaction was a nightmare. She was crazy. But we closed though, so, but she was a referral from a CPA. You know, it was just a lot. It was a lot. Like it was one of those clients that wants the seller to pay for the home inspection, their home inspection.
Oh, wow.
And y'all know that don't even happen. It's the buyer's due diligence. It's the buyer's due diligence. But yeah, it was a referral from a CPA. I mean, me and the woman, we still talk today. I mean, she was nice, but she was just tough throughout the transaction.
So my story is a little interesting. Honestly, my first $1 million home was something that my best friend and I, we actually flipped. So what we did was, he's a genius in his own right? So he called me one day and he was like, look, I got this pre-foreclosure list. We just need to start breaking this down. And so literally, like for 2 to 3 weeks, we would call the numbers every single day. I mean, 50, 100 calls. And we finally got a hit. It was this guy who had won the lottery like years ago. He won the lottery, so he bought a $1 million mansion for his wife. And then over time, she became sickly, and they started to lose the home, right? It started to become a distressed property. So I'm calling around. I'll never forget, his name was Mr. Roscoe. And somehow, some way, I actually got him to give us an interview, me and my friends. So we went to the home, and we convinced him to let us purchase it. So we purchased it for $615,000, and we put a lot of money into it. So we ended up selling it for $1.2 million. And so we listed that home for $1.2 million. That's kind of how I got in the industry. Actually, I think I was talking to somebody earlier where I actually, a buyer that came to one of my open houses ended up being another $1 million client for me. And it didn't work out. but that's my story. So my friend and I, we went and got the house.
How much you make up there?
Don't worry about that. We sold it. We sold it.
Right. So I think it's very important, and I've been noticing this, and I actually just had this conversation with someone about probably you, I don't know, you and more people, as in my husband. But I was just saying that those luxury clients that we are working with now, someone asked me, I'm like, it's patience. Like, it's patience with them. And the reason why it's patience with them is because this is a big investment. If they have $1 million, if I had $1 million, I'm not just about to just go out here and just, well, some people do, but you know, the average person isn't going to go out here and just blow it. They're going to be very, you know, strategic on how they spend their money, right? So I just realized with, you know, when it comes to, you know, our luxury clients, it's just really like patience with them. Like, you know, we've been working with them for years now, and it's just like, even though we haven't closed yet, we're still looking. We're back on the market. We're back out the market, you know. So I would really say that, you know, what you guys said, the difficulties, and, you know, just how you said you guys went about it, and, you know, everything that you guys have been through, I would say, like, just in our experience, I would say patience is definitely what we have experienced with it. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we're still in the luxury segment. I would say, how do you choose your design partners for luxury and smart electronics consultations?
Who wants to go? You want to go?
How do you choose a smart partner? So actually, I say that we didn't even flip the right way, right? Honestly, I'm gonna be completely candid with you guys. We were on a budget, so we were trying to make it work within our budget, but I think that actually kind of hurt us in terms of days on market and things like that. So I would say for the next one, you have to do your research. Go after those 5-star, you know, companies. Maybe it is a little more expensive, but I promise you, it's gonna pay off in the long run.
I give you the card.
All right, my man. So there we go right there, right? Because when you try to cut corners, it always comes up. So with that $1 million listing, we had a buyer, some things happened, they actually walked away because they didn't like some things in the house, right? So spend that extra money, do that extra research. Don't always try to cut that corner, because it's always going to come back. So that would be my advice. Research.
I'll say partners are really, really important. Make sure their goals align with yours. My best limited partner, I use him because he really cares and I really care. I don't value a commission anymore, because if you help other people get what they want, you're gonna get what you want. If you're skilled at what you do, you're gonna make money. So, like, just point blank, period.
Hold on. Can we stay right there for 1 second? You said, I don't value money anymore, right? So I think that's big for the audience, because I think sometimes a lot of people value the money when they first get into real estate, not really understanding, as Patrick said, it could take you 8 months. That doesn't mean to get discouraged or anything like that. So at what point did you, not to switch your question, but at what point did you stop valuing the money? Because some people may think you still do. You know what I mean? Like, so tell us how you stopped valuing the money and what made you realize it.
Don't get me wrong, I still need my coin. However, like last year I sold 78 homes. So I mean, like, I was operating in abundance, right? So, but it just helped me be able to advise at a different level that my clients could pick up on. It's like if we walked into a house and based on what they told me they want when we started working together, but they were willing to settle for this house, I'll repeat it. I'll say, hey, I know you said that you like this house, but day one you told me you were looking for a 5-bedroom, 3-4 bath that was 3,000 square feet above grade. This is a 3-bedroom, a 2-4 bath, and it has 2,000 square feet above grade. Are you sure you want to settle? And asking those difficult questions like that, instead of just being like, yes, let me go write up this contract. They know that, like, I actually care. And then also, you gotta know when to walk away from clients too. I walked away from a $1.3 million listing appointment because the seller wasn't realistic. And so you gotta know, like, if I take that $1.3 million listing, I put all this energy and effort into trying to market this listing, that's gonna waste my time. And I could have been working with somebody who's motivated. So in this season where the market is very rocky, in a sense, like every listing is not gonna sell, you have to pick and choose, number one, the clients that you take on, and number one, the listings that you take on. You have to stop just prospecting for anybody with a pulse and prospect for the motivated clients.
That was good.
Piggyback on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
That was a great
That's your
guess.
cousin too. Go
And,
ahead.
to piggyback on him, one other thing too, I think is a great key. I point out all the bad stuff in the house, right? So some people, oh, this is great, this is lovely, right? No, I'm like, this is wrong. This outlet shouldn't be like this. There's a leak up here in the ceiling. They are gonna value you more by telling them what's wrong in the house because now they know that you have their best interests at heart. A lot of times, if there were agents, they just want to check, so they're like, oh, you love it, I love it. But no, if you love it, they love it, but you see something wrong, you need to be something.
I literally, that was real. Literally had the same. I'm writing up an inspection, a property inspection on this today, and it took us 3 days. Y'all know why? Because I kept pointing out, so I'm like, you ain't see that? You ain't see that? They like, oh yeah, but this is. I'm like, listen, we have to understand. Like, I do not want to get a call 3 years down the line, and they say Chantre did whatever. It's it's things that we can and can't control again. But if they know that we care so much to point out those bad things, like that is longevity. That is a client who's going to refer you to, a family member and things like that. It's us caring. So that's really good.
And really quick, like I know we're on a luxury moment here, but that transpires for any budget. You know what I mean? Especially those first time home buyers who are scared and they're going into properties and they see the beauty of a flipped property. When you're pointing out, because you have the experience from showing several properties, lots of properties, you notice those little things that contractors cut corners. And you point those things out, they really do appreciate it.
I would say, just to go back to the original question, and I think it was, when did you stop caring about the money aspect of it? For me, it was a super sobering moment. Like, I won an award, a National 30 Under 30 award for National Association of Realtors. And for me, I felt like everyone around me was more excited than I was for the award. And I was just kind of like, you know what I mean? I gotta reconnect to whatever it is that matters to me at this point. And that's when everything just kind of shifted for me. So a lot of my focus today is I still help buyers and sellers in the market, but a lot of my focus is empowering the agents that I work with to be able to go out and get their goals. And for me, that's a lot more satisfying than selling houses.
Okay. Like that.
T-shirt.
Awesome. Every single last one you guys. They were great. Can we touch on the because this is getting good. Can we touch on while we're with Montez? I think he's the only one, right? With the sports and entertainment. Yep.
Yeah.
Are you in the sports and entertainment?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about. We don't know. We're not with Keller Williams, so we don't know what it entails or what's going on. We just know that we have our fellow friend agents who are a part of it. So what exactly is that, and how do you feel about being a part of that?
So Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment is an exclusive group for high producing agents that work with a luxury and entertainment clientele. I like being a part of the group. I'm able to network with other agents producing at a high level. That's very important to me because I'm big on learning from anybody. I'm like a sponge, and that's how I really built my career. Just learning, taking pieces of everybody's business and then putting it into my own business, and that's how I built what works for me. I love being a part of the group, but I'm at a space in my business where I'm just trying to put systems in place to continue functioning, Currently, I have 16 deals under contract right now, which is a record. I've never had that many deals under contract before, maybe 10 consistently, but running with 16 is very, very different, and that's something that I'm having to, try to get accustomed to because my phone still keeps ringing, which I'm very grateful for, but it's very stressful too because you don't want to grow and then the quality starts to fall off. And then now I'm back at square zero because people, oh, he doesn't answer the phone, oh, his service level isn't there. So now I'm at that weird awkward place where I just have to continue to grow. But it's a great group, learned a lot from the individuals in it. And you know, I do have that luxury clientele, but again, for me, I treat everybody the same. It's all about 5-star service and just making them feel like they're my only client.
Okay. Did you have any other questions? I think that was it. Yeah. Yep.
How do you do that with 16 clients?
Do you have a transaction coordinator? Okay, yeah. That's the one.
My makeup is I have a transaction coordinator. Of course, you know that's outsourced to another company. I have a virtual assistant that works with me about 40 to 50 hours a week. I'm personally working about 50 to 80 hours a week. And then I have 2 to 3 showing assistants that work with me. So again, a lot of it is me. And I probably need to put another like full-time assistant in there. But I'm still, you know, it's just a part of growing pains too, because you gotta get ready to, you gotta put yourself in a position to receive help when you've been used to doing so much for you know, doing everything for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of it for me.
That was good. And we're gonna have a Q&A. we're gonna have a Q&A after this as well, so don't worry if you guys have other questions. Another one? Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah. So the next question is going to be for where I am. Sorry. All right. So the next one is going to be, how did you know you wanted to start a team? Anybody can go first. All of the team leaders.
All right. So for me, I really enjoy helping. Like it actually, I think I get just as much satisfaction out of helping my client as I do seeing one of my agents help a client. Especially when I know they just started out and this is their dream, you know, close on that first deal. To see their happiness, it gives me so much elation, if you will, because I know that I really helped them with that. The second part of that is my broker. My broker is more like a best friend to me now, but I have to attribute a lot of my success to him because he was always accessible, right? Anytime, I called this man morning, day, night. His name is David Pritchett, by the way. And I really give a lot of credit to him. So when I started the team, I wanted to give my team the same type of energy that he gave me. So when my clients call me, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm picking up the phone. If they need to Zoom at 8 o'clock, we Zoom at 8 o'clock. We got a 6 a.m. call, and that's what we're doing. But giving that energy to them is what I actually get something out of that because I'm growing, we're growing together, and the brand is growing. So, you know, that's what made me want to start, is him helping me and wanting to push that to other people.
Nice. You go.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it was a little bit different because I acquired a team. You know, I was on a team for, I call it 7 years because, you know, that's when we started the real estate club. I've been licensed for 4, but I've been, you know, around and part of that team for the last 7 years. And to me, again, I think that the real moment was, you know, kind of like around the time that I won that award, like around the time where it's like, how many more times do like I want to do this many deals? Like that deal, that year I sold 50 houses. So it was like, do I want to sell 75? Do I want to do that? Like it's a different kind of lifestyle, you know what I mean? As opposed to you have leverage and you're running a business. So for me, I think a part of it was asking myself that question, do I want to sell 75 to 100 houses a year? The answer is no. You know, 50 is good for me, right? Like 4 to 5 deals a month, I think that's a good space for me. And then beyond that, it was seeing the other people on my team have success. We had you know, one person that sold 60 listings in, I want to say 2021, and most of that was through Team Legion, right? And having him have the ability to do that. You know, Vince came in, he is going into his 2nd year of real estate. He sold 37 houses in his first year. So being able to like and I don't want to say duplicate myself because it's different for everyone, but to figure out how do you duplicate success. I think that that's different. I think that some high producers, they're just them, right? They just have the motor, they just have the network, they just, they just instinctually like know what to do to be able to produce that business, but they can't teach somebody else how to do it. And I get bored quickly, right? So like the next challenge for me was to figure out how do I help duplicate results in other people. So I think that that's how I ended up there.
And I remember you saying that. I think you were probably at lunch.
Panera.
No, was it Panera or that was not even anything? Whatever. But you said that. You said, I'm okay selling this amount of houses. Like you said that. And I didn't realize what you meant. Why would you just be okay with that? Like, I didn't understand it at the time until, we start really getting into selling, and we're figuring out our numbers and all of that and what's consistent and what makes sense to us. Everyone doesn't have the same goal. So that's a big thing too. Just kind of just keeping your eye on your own goal and not looking at what everyone else is doing, because everyone's going to be different.
And I think it's important to like be mastering something. Like you got to choose like what is it that I want to master. For some people, sales. For me, it's coaching, it's leadership. Like I want to be a master in that. And so when you decide that you're going to go down that path, you have to say no to some other things. And I think that's important for everybody to choose. Like, what am I going to be mastering?
So we are right at the time. We're going to have one question to end with before we do the Q&A. Two more?
Yes, the last two. So it kind of, it leads to where we were, and Kendrick said it. So it's like, when you first got into the business, how did you establish what you needed from a broker? Anyone, everyone.
So I didn't know until I found it. Honestly. I told you guys before I started with another brokerage. So I was young and I was just hungry to just get in the game wherever I could. I didn't know the questions to ask a broker. If you were willing to take me on, I was willing to sign up, literally, because I just wanted to sell a home. But then in those 5 months, I started to realize that everything they told me wasn't true, right? So now I'm going around just trying to find people, and I'm telling them what I can do. Like, I'm motivated, I'm hungry, I'm ready to go. I didn't yet know what I was looking for until my broker said, you know what, I like you, I got you. And then when he started calling me all the time, holding me accountable, telling me to make my 50 calls or whatever that was, that's when I realized a broker needs to be somebody to always talk to, always reach out for knowledge. Because if you can't talk to them, then what are you doing? You're basically a solo agent by yourself. Everybody needs a mentor or something. So I didn't know until I found it, but now I know.
It's for everyone.
For me, it was really just being in an environment where I was supported. And why I've been so loyal to my brokerage, because I've had some amazing offers from other brokerages. Was because when I had lost my job, my market center CEO, I came in. Of course, I was almost in tears, y'all. Shit, I was crying. I was distraught. Y'all. Like I had a great job, but we sat in the office for like 2 hours and we like mapped out a game plan. I mean, mind you, I didn't sell a house my first 5 months in the business, but at least I had a plan. And yes, I didn't sell a house my first 5 months, but in real estate, you get paid 3 months in arrears. So the stuff that you do today, you'll get paid for it in 3 months. So you can't really say, oh, I'm not seeing results, or I'm not seeing results. You just really got to stay consistent. Like, keep doing the open houses, keep learning the neighborhoods, keep networking in your office, keep doing that, keep posting on social media. Because again, it's not instantaneous. It's not always instantaneous. But they supported me, right? Like, she didn't have to spend 2 hours with me that day because I was a non-producing agent at that point. And then also, like, the office manager, how she supported me in terms of just helping me run the back end of my business to make sure it was compliant and things of that nature. So that's really what would expect me to roll to my brokerage. And then also, you got to get cool with people in your brokerage because they know, especially the staff, because they know what everybody's doing. They know how much their people are paying their assistants and what splits that people have their showing partners on. They know everything. So if you get cool with them, they'll tell you everything that you need to know to for how to run a successful business. And that's all I did, is steal it and put it in my business. Simple.
For me, I would piggyback off of that. Before I came to Harris Hawkins, I was with KW. And I was on a team. My team lead was great. But I felt like I was helping build their business more than I was building my own. So moving to Harris Hawkins and leading Tiffany and Brandy was world changing for me because they care about my success as much as they care about their own. So that was just, like I said, world changing. So, and not only that, just to piggyback off the support as well. I don't just have support in my business, I have support in my family. Like, the brokerage is a family. You know, our brokerage is a family. Something happens with my kids, their aunties are ready to pull up. You know, and that just means the world to me. You know what I mean? So I can have my family at home and my family in my career. It's amazing.
I would say it's gonna change, definitely. Like, depending on where you are in your business, how much business you're doing, the support that you should be seeking from your brokerage is different. So I think that in the beginning, you want to go somewhere that has training and education. 0% of zero is zero. I tell agents that all the time when I meet with them. Like, you know what I mean? You could be getting 100% from like Douglas or whoever the hell you're with, but like, if they're not teaching you anything, or like you don't have any support, or you don't figure out how to get your business off the ground, it doesn't matter what your percentage is. So like, first of all, like, I would prioritize a place that has the training and education to help you get off the ground. And then what I would say after that is, it's really going to depend on like your business model, right? Like, you know, where we are right now, and just kind of like where I seem to be totally transparent, like, I'm looking to open the doors for everyone that's coming behind me, right? Like, I came up on a team. You know, I was behind a big name for the last 8 years, and I felt what it was like to be on a team with like somebody, and like to maybe be at the production level where you're like, okay, maybe I can go somewhere else and have like more success on my own, but to like stay there and to like live there. You know what I mean? So me being the team leader at this point, I want to make sure that none of my agents feel like that ever, right? Like, they always feel like because they're with me, they're being multiplied, right? They're not being held back about anything. So, you know, I think, you know, not to throw names out there or anything, but like, I think Keller Williams is a hell of a platform. I was with Mark King, who's the CEO of Keller Williams, a couple of days ago. We was hanging out, having a conversation, and he labeled it to me, and it's kingmaking, right? Like, when Keller Williams puts you on stage because you've had the success and you followed the models, you know, they make you a king. You know what I mean? Once you get on that stage, your life will never be the same again. So I tell a lot of people that, like, you know, that brokerage can blow you up bigger than you could ever do yourself. And I'm passionate about it for those reasons. I think it's super important when you affiliate your business.
And I think just to kind of sum up with what everybody said was knowing what you need first to be able to go to somebody else and tell them what you need. Because if you can't articulate that, then nobody can help you anywhere in your business because they don't know who you need help with. So that was great. Before we get into Q&A, we're going to hit this last question. And it is for the queen of the panel. And that is, what advice would you give a new agent looking to build a foundation in property management?
So first, I would say to build the systems in your real estate business before you try to venture out into other fields in the industry. And I say that because when you can build relationships like we've all been talking about, and you can build those relationships with investors, your business in property management is just going to be able to take off so much easier. That's pretty much what I've done along with referrals from my colleagues. Just establishing those relationships with my investor clients that I've been helping for years, just flip houses and then sending those, when they want to hold a property and I have to send a referral, now I get to, just pick up that business as well. So I would say to build those systems out within your real estate business. That will give you the practice in building out those systems in your property management business because they're very similar. And just like in your real estate business, build relationships.
All right. So first, thank you, panel, for that information. And just to let you guys know, we were very strategic as to how we handpicked the panel. It was so that sorry. It was so that you felt like everyone on the panel could meet you wherever you are in your business, whether that's here, there, anywhere, right? And so everyone on the panel has been in the business for between 1 to 6 years. So I hope that whatever they have said to you gave you some light, gave you some momentum, gave you some positive energy where you can leave here today. We look on social media, text you or call you on the phone and just give you you're killing it. And I see you killing it from the day that you left the panel segment with the Singletary Phillips Group. So without further ado, we're going to have Q&A and then we're going to network a little bit more.
So, anyone have any questions for the panel? Don't be shy now.
For the newer agents, I'd say tell them, my name's Sam Mitchell, I'm a mortgage lender with Phillips Lending Group. And as a lender, I obviously see a lot of failed files, and I would ask the panel to elaborate on what you do to vet a deal when you're on the listing side. I think it's really important. A lot of agents don't know what DU is, don't know how to, whether or not to ask on assets, etc. So how do you vet that a lender or a buyer to get, as best as you can for your seller to make sure you're making the table?
So you're saying before we even send it to the lender?
No. As a listing,
Okay, as a listing agent.
how do you vet the deal to make sure they're legit?
I would say I answer a lot of questions. That's really helped me. Last year I sold about 35 listings, but really just asking a lot of questions to make sure that the story makes sense. Like, hey, is your client W-2 or are they self-employed? Okay, if you say self-employed, have you reviewed the tax returns deeply? Because you have a lot of self-employed people, they might make 200, but they only claim 20, right? So that's like a pertinent question to ask. And then, I'm also looking for reputable agents on the other side too, just because I know that they're not going to waste their time working with a client that's not pre-approved. I also started looking up the mortgage lenders' credibility as well and their credentials, because it's just like you don't have a lot of time to waste. And sometimes you really only got one shot with that client, and if the deal fails, they'll be ready to just say, you know what, this is time. And they don't even want to sell no more. So it's like you got to treat that like before you even sell off of them, you got to really treat it just like that. And I tell them in the listing consultation, the highest offer is not always the best offer. So they already had that mindset.
That's good. Thank you.
I would say, in addition to giving them a call and making sure they're accessible, because obviously they fall off the face of the earth sometimes. In addition to hearing what they have to say, a lot of times within our brokerage, we might reach out to each other if we're not familiar with that agent. If we're not familiar with that agent, we might reach out to our brokerage, our other agents in our brokerage, and say, "Are you familiar with them? What was your experience?" Just so that we can get. If we don't know how to trust them, we can collaborate with our agents inside of our office to see if they trusted them, what was their experience, did they close on time, what was their communication like, did they meet deadlines, all that.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty similar. We have a list of questions that my assistant sends out to just make sure that the lender's done their job on their end to vet the buyer. And then again, the credentials of the real estate agent means a lot. Just to know that they've done business or they know what they're doing. what your contract looks like when it comes over, and your contract is just like all over the place, and your addendums are just like out of order and like stuff like that, like that's typically not going to fly. And then like terms are super important. Like just take a look at the terms. Again, I think somebody said, offer price is not always the most important. So I think like if you're preparing your offer and you're sending it to a listing agent with some questions about seasoned agents and like why they're grumpy and all that stuff, like it's because they've been through it. You know what I mean? Like they understand what it's like to work with somebody on the other side that doesn't know what they're doing. So they just make sure that like the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and it looks clean when it comes over. That's like a big first impression.
Anybody have questions? Anybody else have questions for the panelists? No? Good? Y'all good? You got to hear something say? Your questions? Me. You going to get questions? So Jack touched on it just a tad bit as to why we think there's a disconnect between millennial agents and seasoned agents. And so if y'all can answer that for us and help the audience understand why sometimes, and when we say seasoned, we mean agents that have been in the business for about 10, 20 plus years, right? They actually begin to, because we're new, they look down on us a little bit, or when we're on the phone with them, they were like, well, do you know I've been in the business for 20 years, and this is the way that we do things? It doesn't matter because we're in a new place. So if y'all could share your experience and tell us why there's a disconnect, we would love to hear that.
So we was talking about this earlier. I really think part of it is because those older people, they had to drive to get that contract signed, right? Like, we didn't sign, we sending it off, and I think that they think that they had to work harder than we did. But we worked just as hard for our day. We can't help that technology is now at the top, and I can send you a document in 2 seconds. We work just as hard as you do. And I think on the phone is where they will start to understand that. But I also think that's why knowledge is so important. Like when you're talking to an agent of 20 years, they automatically in their head think they know more than you. But when you start to call them out on certain things, and when you understand the contract sometimes better than them, they will quickly turn their tone, their attitude, and everything, and understand that you belong just as much as they do. So it's all about confidence, knowledge, and just knowing that you belong there. You got a question?
Oh, go ahead. Make sure you guys speak loudly into the microphone because of this thing here. But okay, go ahead.
I mean, to piggyback off of that, I would say that it's also on their part probably a little bit of frustration. They're not used to the technology. We're very comfortable with it. We know how to navigate it. We know how to use it to our benefit. And I think that the learning curve that they are, set in front of is just one challenge that they have to face. And so that maybe creates a little bit of frustration for them. And I think just enabling them and, like they said, just empowering them, collaborate. Do you need help with something? We get asked to each other. As long as we can collaborate, the end goal is just to help our clients collectively get the house sold. So we should all be on the same team. Every transaction should be a win-win. So if we can help them, they can help us, we can all learn from each other.
Good. That question. I just want to piggyback on what both of you guys said. I think there's a lot of technology out here, and older people get, a little. It's about change, and change is difficult for some people. They don't want to change. They want to go to someone's house and get it, get the contract signed. Where you just push a button and it's there. Change is a lot for people, but change is also good. But it's for the better. But you have to be willing to accept it. So I just want to get that. And also, I do have a question. So how do you guys deal with difficult agents?
Pull them with kindness.
You don't.
Oh, we're gonna let them answer?
Go ahead.
You want to answer? Wait a minute.
And what I mean by difficult agents, I mean not, I mean like nasty.
Nasty. I knew that.
You trusted up.
Yeah, she was. Let me tell you. Megan, I think we're going to say the same thing. It's killing with kindness. And I had probably one of my largest deals, which was definitely over 500,000, and it was a lady from my church, and she was the agent. And I can't believe she was treating me like that. And I'm like, wow. So, and I'm just sitting here and I'm in disbelief. And still to this day, she's just nasty. And I think what I did was I just killed it with kindness. And I just kept my composure. I kept my professionalism. And, I just told her the main focus here is to get our clients to positive. Like, I'm not here to make you crazy, Like, if that's not what you want, like, it's okay. We just are here. Our goal is to get our clients to positive. And that's kind of how it was. It's just unfortunate that we have to come across that in this industry. But,
Yeah, so I would say to keep in mind that everyone is human. We're all going through our own things. So what I try to keep in mind is that the way that they're treating me is less about me and my clients and more about them and how they feel. And one thing I'm not going to do is allow them to disrupt my peace of mind and disrupt my client's experience, because the way that I behave affects my clients, affects the transaction as a whole. So yeah, I would say just come with kindness and keep it professional.
I be having to catch myself because I'm about to use my platform to bash. Everybody want to know how bad this agent is. But no, I would never do that. Again, because even if it's not you, if you go on social media and you make a big deal, like people may look at you as the problem. So it's best sometimes, hey, if we can't talk to each other nicely on the phone, I'm going to email you, right? Or I'm going to have my transaction coordinator talk to you, because I'm not going to ruin my reputation based off of somebody else who's in a bad season in their life. So that's when it's important to have leverage. It's $285 or $300 to have a transaction coordinator. Hey, Billy, I'm sorry, but I don't think we can communicate the best way. That's why I have Ann. She'll be your main point of contact for the transaction. And they hate that. She'll be your main point of contact. And you just do that. You put that leverage in there to help you out.
I would agree that you took my answer. I don't have much to say. Just if it gets too crazy, cut all the communication and go through email, right? Let's just put it on paper at this point. We don't have to do emotion, tone. Let's just go through email. But I think that's another thing too, is just taking your emotions out of the deal. A lot of people are emotional in real estate. I think the only people that should be emotional are the clients. It's an emotional decision for them. Obviously, they're purchasing a home, but we do this every day. So when that client is done, we go for the next one. So we got to take our emotions out and just realize that we are in this business.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
And if I could add one more thing, I would just, for any agent, but one of the main things that I learned, or one of the first things that I learned coming into real estate, is that so much of our careers and just how we do business is just mindset. So establishing like a healthy mindset will allow you to be able to kill the kindness and to you can just stay professional and not allow your emotions to get in the way. When you have your mindset together, you keep the transactions together.
And if I'm going to add anything to that, there's only so many directions it can go. It's like we get under contract, we do a home inspection, the appraiser comes back. Like, I'm not really going to go back and forth with anybody about anything, really. You know what I mean? Like you said, like I have a transaction coordinator. She handles the majority of everything that happens after it goes under contract. If I need to be pulled in, I get pulled in. I hope that never happens. But like it's just one of those things for me where like I'm not going to argue with an agent about anything. You know what I mean? Like once we're under contract, the terms are pretty clear. Boilerplate, we fill in the blanks. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's whatever the contract says is kind of how I proceed.
Right, true. And I would just say, agents, remember that you are not a party to the contract. So how you feel don't even matter. It's between that seller and that buyer. Agents, remember, you are not a party of that contract. We don't pay July. That's it. They just want our information. how you feel, what you think, how you think your client should respond. It doesn't matter, which will alleviate a lot of the tension sometimes because it's like, look, I'm just telling you what my client. Present it, whatever your client comes back and says, I'm gonna present it, and we just keep going back and forth that way.
And that's where just like having the knowledge, knowing the contract, knowing, the recourse of action or what's the next step from here. Knowing that allows you to, again, stay in a healthy mindset and just move it forward.
We said a lot of quality improvements and how we just
Raise the age.
Anybody else have a question? Yes, yeah, you're ready to network.
Yes. Well, we have about another 20 minutes, sir. Okay. All right.
Oh my gosh, shut her up. She'll keep going. No, yeah. Okay, everybody,
Anyone have more questions? Okay. So, the panelists, are you guys going to be here for a little bit? I'm going to try that. You're going to talk over here. Okay, all right, cool. So, we just have another 15 minutes. So, if you guys want to talk to them privately, if you have any questions for them or us, feel free to walk up, network, mingle, meet people, there's food left. And again, if you have any questions, let us know. And we thank you all for being here. We really do. We know it is a Thursday night, but we felt as though this would be very, very important and helpful in all of our careers as we collaborate and network with each other. Collaboration over competition. So if you see each other in the market, Instagram, outside, whatever, we should not be afraid to come and network with each other, ask questions and things like that. So, yes. Oh, yes. So we want to give handles. So.
If anybody would like to follow me, at King, KING _, Realty 1. King _ Realty 1. Say it one more time. KING, King _ Realty 1.
On Facebook, it's Montez McCray, and then at Montez.Maurice. Make sure y'all find the right Instagram page. Somebody just made a new one up. So Montez, MONTAZ, .MAURIC, Montez.Maurice.
Montez, Maurice.
Yeah, so Montez, MONTAZ, .Maurice, MAURIC.
My handle is at Meg _ the mompreneur.
And mine's just first name, last name. She killed like the basketball player who was playing like Montez. That's my cousin.
Anything else? Let's eat, let's drink, let's have a good time. All righty.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.